Hello viewer, welcome back. This is Sean Turns Up the Volume. I'm Sean, conservative, Christian, goth, mental health counselor. These are my labels. Pronouns saved by grace from the Lord. Imperfect human. Today I come to talk to you about how I know that I'm a man. Wow, 2025, much progress that it takes just a bit of courage. It takes some courage to come out here. I mean, people have been banging on the drums and sounding the alarm for years. I mean, I've been following Jordan Peterson for years, and he was getting maligned and coming out for free speech from Canada a long time ago now. And so there's people that have been in the fight, and I am late to the party, and I'm coming in at a time when it is easier to speak just basic truths that people understood for thousands of years and however long humanity's existed before the progress of Marxism, Leninism, the cultural Marxism of the Frankfurt School. I need to learn more about the Fabian Society, because I think that they're pretty dark too and involved. Now, before these white German socialists propagated these terrible ideas in the 20th century, and propagated them onto mankind and through the universities and academia, the journalism, and if you're watching this, you probably know. That's probably why you're here. Anyway, it doesn't take so much boldness, but to come out and make a YouTube channel and actually say something about it, put my face out there and my name, at least my first name so far, does take some courage still. And so I want to encourage other people. You can step into this anxiety, this fear that may come of putting yourself out there. Let the left hate you. Let them treat you as the pariah. Step into it. Feel the waves of their hatred, right? Because they're the ones that hate us. I don't hate them. I disagree with them. I hate their ideas. I think their ideas are awful. They are people with dignity, worthy of a common human respect, worthy of debate, of talk, of existing, and frankly in America to, in a lot of ways, live their lives as they want, and if they want to be proponents of radical, bizarre, and false ideologies. By golly, we live in a country where you have a First Amendment right to do that. And I stand for that right. And you know what? People on the left, they are amazing in so many ways that don't touch on their crazy ideology, right? I mean, we know they can be our friends, colleagues, family. These people are professionals in all sorts of fields. Well, I mean, they are blue collar, they are white collar, they represent half the country. Amazing, multifaceted people. These are our neighbors on the left. When it comes to all the things in the ideology, obviously we think it's crazy and wrong and just revealing itself to be Marxist evil. So that's a problem. That's a disagreement we have, and we have that right to disagree in this country. So anyway, I just wanted to say that piece, because we really are multifaceted human beings, and at least on the right, I do want to encourage on my channel that we love them anyway. That even though as we boldly speak out for truth and condemn lies and challenge, and while that, is undoubtedly can come off harsh, is certainly judgmental, right? Because we're making a judgment of right and wrong, just as they do to us. So there's absolutely judgment in it, right? There is absolutely moral values at stake here, and claims of what is right and wrong, just as they're doing to us. Except they do hate us in general and want us silenced in general. Of course, there's a variety of people on the left in a whole spectrum, and this doesn't fit all of them. So I want to say I do get that nuance, that just as there are conservatives of all kinds, and I don't represent all of them, there are liberals of all kinds, and the ideology does not necessarily represent all of them, right? Like, I'm a therapist. I meet people where they're at. I explore from within their worldviews and frameworks and things, and we go digging, and I can understand where people are coming from, where the leftists are coming from. It's important to understand. I think it's the most powerful thing we have is to understand what the other side believes, why they believe it, where they're coming from. The better you can understand and articulate that, even maybe in some degree empathize with it, the better your ability to dialogue with it, the more likely you might have changing conversation, planting seeds with them. They, in large, don't seem to do that to us. We swim in their waters, they don't swim in ours. We see the mainstream media, they don't see our media. They get little clips and snippets and misquotes and out of context video clips, and already have a lens that whatever they're going to see or read is coming from. It's all racist, bigoted, phobia, things like that. And so the lens comes up. It comes up as a barrier to block other perspectives, to block inconvenient truths from coming through. And I think we on the right strive to be aware of how our own defenses come up, and to be to try to not have that lens. Like, I want to be grounded in reality. There's boys and there's girls. There's black and there's white. There's up and there's down. There's light and there's darkness. There is good and there is evil. I want to be grounded in reality. And I also understand there's gray zones. So anyway, wow, rabbit trail. What I wanted to come back to is, how do I know that I'm a man? How do I know that I'm a man? How did I stay knowing that I'm a man, even though in college I got into, first into emo and then into goth and punk rock, not pop punk, but the good 70s original punk rock going on in America, going on in England as it was forming, old 80s gothic rock, death rock, things like that. Good stuff, getting into that. Okay. And with that came exploring more into pushing against fashion norms, pushing against stereotyped norms of dress, fashion for men, because I find male fashion actually quite boring, very constricted. Now, the difference is I don't go, and therefore men should dress as women. I go, well, therefore men need to explore, or could explore, other just types of fashion to develop, like, what is a more expansive form of men's fashion, just as women have been able to develop more, take on more from men's fashion. And it can work, right? You still got to do it well. You still got to look good as you're doing it, right? You can't just throw on throw on a dress and put on lipstick and call it good or something like that if you're gender bending. I mean, it's like you still have to have taste with what's going to work for you. I see this Jeffree Star guy. He's popped up on my feed. I didn't really know about him, but whether you agree or disagree with him, he really pushes that look as far as playing with makeup and nails and different things like that. And let's just say some people can pull it off, and I'm not, I don't do that kind of gender bending stuff anymore as far as fashion and makeup like that. But the point is that is a realm that people have been able to go down. That is a realm that guys, homosexual guys, people who are just inclined to be more feminine can push that limit. And it didn't mean they were trapped in the wrong body. It didn't mean that they had some trans-binary, non-binary, fluid, all this nonsense stuff. It didn't mean that there was something else. You don't have to fit a gender, like stereotypes of what it means to be a man or woman in society. That doesn't change what you are. So, even though I experimented with wearing heels, high heel boots. I like boots. I got another video. I might do a video on boot making. I plan to do that. I would wear skirts that I would make, because goth means you do a lot of DIY. You sew your own clothes. You make your own things. I plan on doing a video of the kind of fashions that I made. I had a whole wardrobe of things that I constructed. It was badass. It was cool. And I stood way out. Ball State, late 2000s. This guy with a mohawk going up. Sometimes I'd split it in a V down the middle. Eyeliner on, eyeshadow. Playing with some makeup there. Wearing skirts. I had some different. I had long, I had short. High heels, leggings, or fishnets. Sometimes they'd smear red paint on me to look as if I'd been like injured, because I was really into zombies and stuff back then. I made a shirt that was all like Resident Evil, Raccoon City. I had the Raccoon City police logos on the shoulders, and then I cut it up and smeared red paint on it to look like blood. And I'd go to class like that. And sometimes people would think I think at least once somebody thought I was like actually bleeding. This is how I dressed. This is how I pushed things. And I may go farther into that. But you know what? I didn't take on the T label. I didn't take on the trans label. I was never, for one, it wasn't really going on back then. Back then, trans still meant transvestite. It didn't mean this whole identity thing. Now, maybe in New York, maybe in California, I don't know. In the Midwest, I wasn't very aware. I didn't care. I didn't join Spectrum. You know, they tried a bit. I mean, I had friends in it. I had friends who were bi, homosexual. I had friends who were overt communists. I had friends who weren't. I had friends who were gun-loving Americans. And it was okay, right? You had all kinds. We didn't necessarily agree on everything. It was a little bit shocking to find out some of them were communists. That's okay. We could still disagree, right? Or just not talk politics. I had friends who were Muslim too. It's okay to, either disagree or not talk about it. Now, as Facebook, that was just years into Facebook, and so the debates online were firing up later on. Later in the 2000s, I would get into fiery debates with people online. Eventually got off of Facebook because, man, do I like to debate online. But it's too much. It can be too much, right? It becomes endless. Gotta step away. So, anyway, didn't take on the T. Didn't join the LGBT mafia. Part of that was it was clearly more than this. For one, it was all this identity stuff. This was not my identity. Now, I could have gone farther, but something held me back. And I wasn't interested in going farther. I knew enough to not go into absurdities. I'm a man. How do I know I'm a man? By golly, you look in the mirror, you look between your legs, and you know what you are. Because it doesn't have a feeling. I don't wake up and go, man, I feel like a man. I'm trying to figure out what the heck do the lefties mean by gender. I guess my graduate school training, all the woke textbooks and DEI stuff, all the sensitivity trainings, whatever, that I've been through in my time, all that I've dealt with this, somehow still struggle. What do they mean? Here's my best impression of what they mean. Like, if I go lift weights or go to the shooting range, I would say there's something in that can feel manly. Of course, that's stereotyped, because that's not actually what it means to be a man. Women can do those things. If I get on the sewing machine and do a DIY project, heck, if I was back then wearing feminine items, women's clothing, that would feel feminine. That would feel womanly. And yet those are gender stereotyped items. That is not innate to what a woman is or what is a woman. Nothing changed about me. I knew that. Something feels a certain way, a gender stereotyped way. That doesn't mean my identity has changed, is fluid, is at moment a man, is at moment a woman. To think that is so insane to me. It's so absurd to me. I should empathize. See, because once you've been fed, I suppose, there's a whole culture of people who have been fed that they should really focus on that and believe that. Oof. And the mental health community should have been grounded in reality and go, oh, what's that saying? Feelings aren't facts. Feelings aren't facts. I always knew that. I always stay grounded in that. Just because you have some fleeting feeling that goes to some associated gender stereotype, it didn't mean there was something changing about me. It didn't mean it was some identity difference. It didn't mean it was something that to go by. This is my identity, and now it needs to be like protected as some civil human right thing. The right for me to not just dress as a girl, but be called and identified as a girl, as something that is an absolute lie. To call that a human right, that's just a little offensive and a little insane. And we just got to keep pushing back. And the counseling community should compassionately explore and push back, because treatments have an orientation towards where they go, where the client will go. And that stuff gets determined by things like the researchers, the textbook writers, the ethics boards, the writers of the DSM, the movers and shakers and theorists of the community. They are the ones who decided to shift from working on gender identity disorder, gender dysphoria, from the perspective of, well, however they were working with it before, because whatever they were doing before was not what is gender affirming care now. And so that's probably what we should get back to. That's what they say is not evidence-based and just causes all kinds of harm. And yet I've seen the pictures of the massive traumatic scarred thigh tissue that's been used to make the fake phalluses. Seen the pictures of the scarred bodies. I know these people will have lifelong problems with their sex, with just needing to maintain an orifice, with just needing to continue hormone treatments, different things like that. This is what the leftists determined was the best care for them and the ethical care. And by golly, I'm still pissed off about it, because you know what? They might have taken me if I had grown up in this cult. They might have taken me. That's horrifying and that's disgusting. They're coming after your kids' balls, right? That's what they're doing. They want to capture them. They want to capture their minds and come for their balls and cut them off. That is what the left is doing. That's what they've been doing in mental health and pushing. And by golly, I'll stop talking about it when they stop doing it. Not just that, when there's accountability and repentance and real change. Then we can move forward, and not a moment before then. Thank you. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.